From Beam Media in Dallas, Texas, this is The Jack Attack. And today I'm going to be talking about the movie The Monster from 2016. So The Monster is a road trip film. The classic mother-daughter road trip. And during the course of the road trip, we see some flashbacks that show that they're kind of from a dysfunctional type family. They don't really like each other that much. And so there are two directions that this movie could possibly go. One is a comedic reunion between mother and daughter, and the other is a monster attacking them in a horrible manner. And naturally, we get the monster attacking them in a horrible manner. So actually, we don't see the monster right off the bat. Instead, what we see is the mom and the daughter get into a car wreck at night in the rain. The perfect horror setup. And when they look out onto the road, they see that they've hit some kind of animal. And it is, they call it a wolf. But to me, it looked more like just an Ewok or something because it had red fur. And I don't really know of wolves that have red fur. But, you know, I haven't really seen that many wolves. But I always thought they had gray fur. So they're in the car together waiting. And they're like, oh, we better call 911 because the mom says she's injured. And there's some blood and her wrists seem to hurt and stuff like that. And being that we sort of know as the audience that it's a horror movie, we expect that, oh yeah, their phone's not going to work, of course. But their phone does work. So it is a bit of a surprise that we get right off the bat. And that's when I started thinking to myself, this movie might not be that bad. Not bad at all. And it was getting interesting. So they call 911, and 911 is like, we're going to send a tow truck and an ambulance. And so the mom and the daughter wait. Eventually, the tow truck arrives, and the tow truck driver tells them that the ambulance is a bit delayed, but it'll be there soon. And at that same time, they notice that the wolf that was in the street is gone. And it is the first time that the characters start suspecting that something weird is going on. But the tow truck driver tells the characters that their car is wrecked so badly that he can't even tow it in its current condition, and that he's going to have to repair some oil leak on the bottom of the car so that it'll be safe to tow. Now, I've never heard of a tow truck driver having to do anything like this. So this was probably just thrown in the movie to get an excuse for the tow truck driver to be out there. Because I think we know, as an audience, that in a movie called The Monster, that this tow truck driver is cannon fodder for the monster. And indeed it is. And the tow truck driver is brutally killed by the monster. And it is awesome. Very, very awesome. And so at that point, once the tow truck driver is dead, we know that the characters also know that the danger is real and things are intense. I remember thinking to myself at that point in the movie, dang, this movie is too intense for me. It is going to give me a heart attack. And that's the first hour of the movie, summed up right there. Yeah, sure, not a lot happened, but, you know, it was intense. And it was awesome. And I was like, man, this movie is awesome. I'm glad I watched it. But I was only met with disappointment at that point. Because the last half hour of the movie was not like the first hour of the movie. The last half hour of the movie had all of your classic horror movie tropes of the characters being as stupid as possible. Now, I understand that in a horror movie, sometimes characters are gonna be dumb, you know, and sometimes characters aren't as dumb as we think they are. We just accuse them of being dumb because we as the audience know more than they know. But in this movie, the dumbness starts about at this level, this being smartness and this being dumb. The movie's dumbness starts at about this level, and then it goes down to this level of dumbness. It becomes the dumbest thing ever. Now, I'm being absolute serious when I say that the first hour of this movie was awesome. Keep that in mind with what I'm about to tell you. So the first dumb thing that happens is the ambulance does show up. So the tow truck driver is dead, brutally murdered. The ambulance shows up, and the mom and the daughter tell the paramedics, they're like, get us out of here. We need to get out of here now. And the ambulance drivers look around. They decide to have a look around in the woods. And it's like, you got the mom and the daughter telling you to get out of there, and you're just going to look around in the woods? I mean, this is the part where the audience is like talking at the movie. They're like saying, no, get them out of there. Like, they're telling you to take them out of there, take them out of there. So it's an acceptable amount of dumbness at this point. It's like, if I were a paramedic and someone was telling me that some animal had just brutally killed the tow truck driver, I would get him out of there. I'd be like, all right, hop in, let's get out of here. But one might be like, okay, sure. Maybe they're curious and want to look around. Maybe they're like, it can't possibly be that dangerous. So you can sort of buy that someone could be that dumb. And naturally, this is full-on spoilers. I mean, we're done with any kind of non-spoilers on this movie. I mean, the bottom line of this movie is I just don't recommend this movie. So yeah, I don't have any problem spoiling it. So both paramedics get killed. It's for one of them, it's just flat out, yeah, you were a moron for walking around in the woods. For the other one, it's like, okay, you at least tried to survive. But both paramedics get killed. And the mom and the daughter end up driving off in the ambulance. And like, she's driving kind of recklessly. And this is the part of the movie where you're like, hey, slow down a bit. You're going to end up wrecking. Just keep things under control. But she doesn't get into a wreck. Instead, the ambulance gets attacked by the monster. And so you're like, okay, I guess it didn't matter that you were driving super fast because the monster was just going to attack the ambulance anyway. So the ambulance ends up off the road, and the mom and the daughter are alone in it. So the monster breaks into the ambulance and is attacking the mom, and then they shine a flashlight at the monster, and it scares the monster away. So in this moment of the film, the characters learn that light scares away the monster. They learn that. And that's important to remember for later on. So the mom is like, I got a plan. And she makes this torch out of whatever happens to be in the ambulance. And she's like, I'm going to go out there into the woods, and I'm going to lure the monster away from the ambulance. And I want you to run away, run back to the road, and find help. That's what she tells her daughter. And her daughter is like, no, we should stay together. And as the audience, we're like, yeah, stay together. And here is where the film just falls apart. And as awesome as that first hour of the film was, the film is just ruined at this point with how dumb the mom's being. Because first of all, say her plan of luring the monster away and the daughter running back to the road works. There is nothing that would make the mom assume that the monster would just not proceed to go find the daughter. But the mom does this anyway. She goes out into the woods with this torch, and she's holding up this torch, and we hear the creepy sounds of the monster, and we see camera angles behind leaves and stuff that makes things look even more scary. And then the stupidest moment in the film happens. The mom takes her torch that she was holding up and she sticks it in the ground like this and puts the torch out, because that way the monster won't be afraid to attack her. And sure enough, the monster's not afraid to attack her, and it does. And does the daughter take this opportunity to run away? No. The daughter goes after the monster and hits it with a rock or something. And then the monster is about to attack the daughter, but the daughter shines the flashlight at the monster, and the monster runs away again. And it's like, okay, they already knew that the flashlight scared away the monster before. So this second time is not revelatory in any manner or anything like that. It's more of like, why didn't you both just use the flashlight together the whole time to escape? It made no sense. Instead, the mom went out into the woods and killed herself. I mean, effectively, she killed herself for nothing. For absolutely nothing. And the problem that I think the audience has when someone kills themselves for nothing in a movie, it is disappointing. It doesn't sit well with the audience. Because it's like, in a movie, everything should matter. You know, I mean, if the movie was about people dying in vain, it might have worked. But it's not a movie about people dying in vain. It's about a freaking monster going after this mom and her daughter, and they're trying to escape. I actually realized at the point where the mom and the daughter wrecked in the ambulance. At that point in the movie, I said to myself, the only chance that this movie has of being good at this point is if both the mom and the daughter survive. And the reason why is because a kid is not going to get killed in a movie. I mean, it's a rare sight to see a kid get killed in a movie. And so the only possibility of suspense existing in this movie is while the mom is still alive. Because at that point it's like, okay, is she going to make it or not? Because with the daughter, there's no question that she's going to make it. But the mom dies and the girl's left alone, and we're like, okay, I guess we'll just see what happens. I mean, there's two possibilities. Either the girl just escapes or the girl kills the monster and escapes. I mean, that's the only two possibilities left. And, you know, I mean, I didn't really see killing the monster as a possibility, so I figured the girl was just going to escape. So I was met with surprise when, in fact, the girl is able to kill the monster. She ends up creating a flamethrower out of some antiseptic spray and a lighter. The real disappointment of the film is, like, the mom dies for nothing. Like, she absolutely dies for nothing. It doesn't save the daughter in any way. And there's sort of a throwaway line before she goes out and kills herself that she's going to die anyway. The mom says that. She's like, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well go out there trying to save you. But the mom was not fatally wounded. She didn't appear to be fatally wounded. Like, she didn't have massive bleeding or anything like that. And she was perfectly capable of walking around when she went out into the woods anyway. And so it was just 100% needless. And so it just ends up weak at the end. And it was disappointing. Like, I was disappointed by it. I really thought it was just going to be this awesome, really intense film. But then it wasn't because of the mom's stupid plan. I mean, the fact of the matter is of this film, if you sit down and watch this film, which I don't recommend doing, the only thing that you're going to remember is this one scene where the mom puts out the torch. And you're like, are you an idiot? Why would you do that? Why would you think... That's the only thing you're going to remember from the film, is that one scene and how stupid it was. And that is my thoughts on The Monster. A stupid film. This has been The Jack Attack. I'm Jack Everett. Thanks for watching.